100 years of war. A war without a conclusion, without a victor. The Alliance stopped my people from dealing the coup de grace to the Pythonians and eradicating them once and for all. Damn them. Well, I would have to admit, perhaps we weren't that close to victory after all. And perpetual war was getting a little bit stale. But us Scissorak will never forget. We'll never forgive. Chief? He's alright though. He gets the job done and even makes me laugh once in a while. Putting the hatreds of the past aside is for the best, really. Good for business after all. And business is booming for us mercs. Between the Arachnids, the Atlanteans, and various terrorist factions and, pirates. There is no lack of targets for me to aim my disintegrator cannon at. Just need to save up some credits doing this and then head back to the home world. And then I can run across the open fields with my pride again. Enjoy the thrill of the hunt. It's fascinating, really, all this technological development, endless Tri-V entertainment, and drugs that titillate all of the senses. Yet it's the simple things that bring the most joy. At least, the kind of joy that feels the most genuine and lasts the longest. I sometimes wonder if we should ever have gone out into the stars. I mean, has it really made us better as a species? Really made us enjoy our existences more? There's something to be said for living in ignorant bliss. This little bug hunt that we're on certainly has become a bit bigger than, well, I would have expected. More dangerous than the pay really warrants. Have to do my best to ensure I don't end up yet another dead merc. The megacorps send us out to do these kind of jobs because we're expendable. To them, perhaps, I'm not expendable, and neither is Chief. Time to get this over and done with. This is Red Moon Role-Playing.
Things have taken an interesting turn on the Crystal Palace, as two heavily armed mercenaries are having quite an interesting gunfight in what normally is a very fine dining hall. Tack and Chief, you have successfully burst in and laid holy hellfire on these individuals, but they are now, it seems, getting ready to try and fire back. Now, one individual on the floor is not having a good day as he has fallen down and his foot is badly injured, but he can kind of try and get his gun against you. He will be suffering a penalty, of course, but he will look to you, Tack, try and fire, and he will fire a full clip. You suddenly hear a charging up on his weapon. These things are capable of full auto, which means he will use all four of his actions to try and shoot you. And as a rain of bullets fly at you, you see that the ammunition is strange. It's not a maker field, it's not lasers, it's some sort of capsules with something in them. And you duck and do your best to get in cover. But unfortunately, it does seem as if you are going to take, possibly, some damage here. So because it is a full auto fire weapon, and it's hit you, it does not roll d6s to hit, it rolls d10s. There is a chance with fully automatic fire and burst fire that even though you hit, not every single attack actually lands. Sadly, while one goes a little off-center, most of the barrage does actually hit you in the arms, your left and right arm. As this stuff hits you, you suddenly notice it seems to be spreading on your arm attack. It's some sort of cold-based damage. Please make a cold ECR check. That is an environmental resistance check at -20.
Well, I got 20, so that would be 0 then.
Unfortunately, that means you will need to take this damage. Please roll 4d6 damage for your left arm first.
4d6.
Threshold rating is ignored.
10. I have armor 20.
Is that your absorption value?
That is absorption on arm, yes.
Wonderful. That means it doesn't quite get fully through your absorption rating. It stings a little. You see the armor kind of freezing up. It's some sort of cryo ammo or something. Please roll then, again, 4d6 twice now for your right arm.
19 and 13.
So, sadly, those 2 arm hits on your right arm. The first one did 19. Please subtract that from your absorption value. How much does that leave you with left?
1.
Sadly, that means the third one does penetrate your armor. That does mean you get a critical hit on your arm. Let us see. A -10 to your manual dexterity, agility, and strength, as unfortunately, the ice does get through to your arm and just sort of, you feel your bone just ever so slightly breaking underneath the armor. You howl in irritation and you fall back as you take the rest of that damage to your body points. Now the second individual is too preoccupied being on the floor to really care about you. The other 2 will fire upon you. Now, they will have a penalty to this, because not only are they at rage bracket 3, but you are in cover. So Chief, you think you see the pirates, noticing that Tack has already taken a shot, getting ready to aim at you, and these 2 unleash a rain of fire upon you. Luckily, you manage to dive underneath a dining room table, quickly adjusting it to give you some cover. And while you hear the bullets smacking at the side of the table, for the moment, you seem okay. You can see that the ammo is creating this sort of icy effect wherever it lands. You may have heard of this sort of ammo before. I think it's called Freezy Pop fluid. A silly name, clearly made by a mega corporation having a bit of a joke at people's expense. Still, you're fine for now. And so, the round begins again. However, as this round begins, both of you don't hear it initially, but your sensors pick it up on your helmets. There are things coming from behind you. Lots of things. Coming very quickly. Tack, it's your go. You have hurt yourself a little. Now, you do have a few ways of healing yourself, I believe, already on you. You have auto-injectors in your armor, so this can happen now.
Yes. Let us use a BRI then, and let's see, how much does it give? A BRI is 2d4s, so let's go with an MBRI then. I utilize my auto-injector to pop an MBRI, a massive BRI, to hopefully recover the body points that I have lost.
Excellent. I imagine this is an action, so let's say that's one of your 6 actions.
Look at that, 12. Exactly what I'd lost, so I'm back to the same amount of body points, but my armor is still messed up.
Yes, on your right arm.
What about the critical? Is that then it remains as well, or?
You've healed your critical. It was a broken bone, a sort of broken bone, and you have, because of this chemical injection, managed to fuse your arm back together.
Excellent.
It still hurts though, and the armor is still fucked.
So that's not great. But I am back in action, so I just growl and I get back up again, and I aim my disintegrator cannon against whoever's closest to hopefully blow them out of here.
Well, that would be that guy on the floor who was the one who actually hit you, and he'll be hittable with a +20 because he's on the ground.
Yes, fuck that guy. That is a 33 then against, if he's still on RB2s, that's 33 under 71.
Excellent. Roll a d6.
4.
That is again, a left arm hit. Please roll that damage.
10 SI.
And this time, you once again fire through his left arm. Your weaponry piercing through the armor, and he just goes down. Your body sensors tell you that he kind of might still be alive for a few more, like a minute or two. Like he's bleeding out, but he's not dead. But for now, he's out of the fight. Because even with halving of limb damage, he only had 5 health points left.
Well, then I shall turn my attention to... is there anyone else I can see? They would be in RB3.
The second one is also on the ground, and again, there's those 2 that are just a bit further away from you. But again, you can move towards them.
Alright, well, I'll try to take out the one that's down. The other one that is down. Yeah, there's also an RB2. And this time I would roll then against 51.
Yes, correct.
17.
That is a hit. Roll your hit location.
3.
That is the right arm. Roll your damage.
And 14.
And again, you fire on this individual. His armor does manage to hold a little, just barely. It's like it's literally hanging off him. He's still on the ground. He's taking a lot of hits, but he's still, technically, a little bit alive.
I growl, and I nod to Chief.
Excellent. So you've used 3 actions, but you still have 3 remaining. What do you want to use those for?
I try to get closer to the other group of enemies, and then I try to get into cover if I can.
Excellent. You can move, and that doesn't require any of your actions. That's your movement. You're now range 2 of these individuals. You can still fire. Remember, after the first hit, you only get a minus 20 on the next ones. If you change target, it goes badly. I believe there's a snapshot penalty of some kind. But I feel in this case, I will allow you to fire at least at the first individual, just at the standard minus 20.
Alright, in that case I shall do that.
So, once again, fire. Now you're at range 2 of these opponents.
49 under 51.
That's a hit. Roll body location.
1.
That is a headshot. Please roll damage.
14.
So your first hit on this guy does, again, smack his head back and blast off half his helmet. Still standing, but I believe you now still have a few actions remaining. You can just keep firing. There will be no further penalty, so it will just be the 50 minus 20 penalty.
Oh, I will then use my final action, because I've fired... what I did is I administrated an MBRI, I fired twice, I moved once, and then I fired once. I had 1 action remaining then.
Yes.
This time, unfortunately, I rolled 89 over 71, so I missed this.
And so, you are now at least in some cover. Chief, your turn. Once again, 4 actions. If you wish to use them for defense, they can be useful for dodging, but you do need to declare that you're using half, and you will then take a penalty to your shooting.
Right. Okay. Well, fuck it. I let out a big laugh, and I start just moving towards them, firing as I go, and I'll probably use like half my movement to avoid the snapshot penalty.
Excellent.
Which would be like 6 meters. Does that bring me in closer range?
Yep, that will bring you within range 1 of the guy on the floor, and now range 2 again. Not quite melee range, unfortunately, for the other 2 individuals, but definitely melee range of the guy on the floor just beneath you.
Okay. Is he doing something?
He looks like in a minute he'll try and shoot you, as he's still alive. Again, his armor's been heavily damaged, but he is still alive, just about. He's also bleeding heavily.
Can I just trample him?
You can, but that will be an action and an attack.
Alright. Let's start with the ones that are further away then. As to grades after that.
Excellent. So, first, 1 action, 1 an attack on a guy at range 2.
Yep. That is 93.
Under.
76, I think.
Sadly, the first one is a miss, and the second attack will have a minus 20 penalty now on that target.
Yeah. Well, I'll shoot again.
Excellent.
The thunder cracks go off in this small room. That is 81 over a 56.
you just can't quite get this guy. He's just sort of like, it's almost like, because he got hit in the helmet, he's kind of dived back into cover himself, like, fucking hell, you fucking bastards!
Yeah, I keep shooting at him, because what am I gonna do? That's 61 over 36, and finally 59 over 16. Bum, bum, bum.
Your gunfire just goes off, 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 off. And then you notice the last one you shoot goes so wide, it actually hits the glass. And you see the glass of the area just crack a little, and then crack a bit more. And then suddenly, all the glass in one of the main panels of the glass walls shatter at once, flying out into open space. These sort of glass panels are normally quite sturdy, especially against impact force, but it does seem as if the sound-based attacks of your Omega gun have had quite the effect. Now, Tack and Chief, being experienced space mercenaries, you know that a station like this has gravity shielding, and so you will not all be flying out immediately into the vacuum of space, lucky for you. However, atmospheric decompression is still very much a thing. You see warning lights begin to sound off all around you on the ceilings. Over an intercom, a computer voice speaks. Warning, decompression in Sector 5, decompression in Sector 5, administering shielding. And a bunch of large metal shutters begin closing over this hole into space. All quite alarming, but standard procedure, although you do notice that one of the pirates is perhaps not as versed in these things. He almost stumbles out of cover, looking behind him, looking at the shutters coming down, and then looking over from his position, screaming, "Are you mercs fucking crazy? You're gonna vent us all, man!" He certainly has become a little more distracted. Now things get interesting, because as you moved forward, Chief, you just moved past that guy beneath you, didn't you? You didn't stop to finish him. You kind of walked past him. And as you look down, thinking after this sudden moment of action, I should probably finish him, you see, diving through the air, a gigantic reptilian beast that you've encountered before, landing on said individual. He screams in horror as his entrails are ripped from his body and he's flung aside. You then see, behind you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These beasts rampaging out from the duct you just were at, flooding into the room. They're all just arriving. Their heads seem to be snapping back and forth, their nostrils flaring, smelling the air, their heads tilting in a strange way. Although, Chief, you find it oddly familiar. They're listening, hearing. It must be the noise. You think to yourself how much noise you've just made in the past 2 or 3 minutes in this room, first with your guns, then with the intercom messages. They must have heard the noise. That's what's drawn them all here so quickly, because you think that their eyesight isn't very good. It's because their eyes are so small and look a little bit clouded. You find yourself wondering if these are some sort of kindred of yours, although they certainly only share so many similarities. These are clearly genetically engineered abominations. Still, there's a lot of them, and they're all here. Again, you see that 4th pirate, the one who was distracted by the shutting of the shutters, just staring at these things from his position, screaming, "What the fuck?" However, the 3rd pirate, the one you shot, Tack, still seems to be in the mood for fighting, and he focuses his attention on you, Chief, the most open target, he feels, and opens his burst fire. You manage to duck a little, and half of the burst of fire does go over your head, but you sadly take a hit to your arm and your leg. So, the first one, your leg. Please, again, roll a ECR check, cold, -20. Now you, actually, physically, have 30 cold ECR, I believe.
35 personal and 5 armor.
In this case, your armor is rubbish. You don't need your armor. You naturally are good against the cold, so you will use your actual stat. 35, so minus 20 is 15, so you actually have a chance here to roll under 15 on a D100. So please roll that first hit on your leg.
38.
Unfortunately, that does mean you are going to have to roll 4d6 damage on your left leg.
16.
16. What's your absorption on your leg?
24.
Then minus 16 from 24, please. Then your arm. Once again, roll a ECR check, so that's under a 15, already 100.
51.
4d6 damage then to your left arm, please.
And that is 11. Absorption 12.
Correct. So again, your armor is just holding, but these icy cryo rounds are very effective at eventually just getting through. Although you do feel in a true battle scenario that not the best weaponry. It's almost more like they're designed to just sort of get you down slowly, or just stop you moving, really, rather than flat out kill you. Anyway, it is the beginning of the next round. Now, Tack, your sensors are going off insanely. There are multiple beings entering this large dining room. Could you please roll me a aggression check? You want to roll under your aggression.
I have 44. Okay, I roll 74, which is then above my 44 aggression.
Yes, it is. Tack, you love the hunt. You love the prey. But you've been wounded. And there are too many of them. You need to get out. Now. You quickly look around and you see, just a bit away from you, the lifts. They would lead you back to... You'd get in the lift and you'd go to the cargo hold. You can get out of here. You need to leave now.
Yeah, I do. These guys are gonna kill each other. I yell, "Chief, we're going now!" And then I begin just booking for the elevator.
Yes. Now you have 20 run, and I'd say you're a fast runner. You manage to pretty much just get to the lifts if you use all your turn, all your actions. Yeah. You're basically at the lift ready, you hit the thing, it starts coming down. Chief, please roll an aggression check.
86 over 57.
Again, you see Tack running, and you see, like, the pirates, you think a bit more time, they'd be down. But there are just so many of these creatures. They are charging directly at the people. You forgot, there are so many people around you. They are diving into them, throwing them across the area, biting heads off, tearing limb from limb. It is a massacre unfolding before your eyes, as at least 15 of these creatures are now in here. Time to run.
Goddamn time to run. But the lift is far and I'm not as fast as she is. But I'm starting to run, swinging my huge cannon as I go. The ground is almost shaking under my 700 kilos.
And so you'll use your action to just about get to the lift as well, but not quite in. The two pirates, still cowering behind their own cover, just start opening fire on these beasts, clearly not really knowing what to do. Their combined efforts do actually bring one down as it charges towards them, the cryo ammo searing into its arm and actually causing it to fall. But then two more simply leap through the air and jump onto them. The one with the damaged helmet goes down, and soon his head is flying through the air. The second one, the last one, does his best to try and scramble away before being completely surrounded and again eviscerated. It's truly a bloodbath. You can't help but feel that if all these people had been awake, they could have at least done something. But instead, they're simply sleeping snacks for these creatures. As the final turn of this combat begins, Tack, the lift has come and you can get in, but you just see that one of these beings is charging towards Chief. Probably has time just to get him. Maybe. What do you do?
Well, then I will, if I can, I will fire to try to prevent this being from getting to Chief.
Excellent. Please roll your attack. Again, you have 6 actions, more than enough actions to get in the lift, so it's up to you how many you wish to just use to fire on this being.
Well, I will fire until it's dead, I think. What range are we talking?
Range 1.
Well, then that's not a problem then. And at range 1 with a ranged weapon, I also get a free offensive bump, if I'm not incorrect. So then I rolled a 25, so that's a hit under 121.
Yes. So please roll the damage, and roll a d6 for its body location.
I rolled 3. If I were to then bump that to 2, would that change location in a good way, or is it just the other armor?
It would be on the torso. Now, admittedly, these beings don't seem to have any armor at all. But for a critical hit, it could still... A torso hit is normally a bit better, I think, on the table.
Well then, let us move it to the torso then, so that it hits square center mass. And then I shall roll my damage, which, again, turns up 14.
14 damage, and to the torso, so it takes it straight on. That's definitely more than a quarter, it's a critical hit. So please roll a critical hit on the torso, which is... D20, please, on the torso of this creature.
3.
3! You puncture its lung! Like, you just sort of see, like, you hit it dead on in the chest, like... And the beast does lose 50 of its constitution. For now, let us just say that you've definitely winded the beast as you shoot straight through its chest. What's your second action?
Well, if it's still going, I'll still fire. I'll do one more.
Excellent. This time, unfortunately, it's minus 20.
Minus 20. Yeah, so 37 under 101.
Hit.
So that's good.
Roll damage.
6.
That's on the leg.
And 16 on the leg then.
You shoot its leg out. It's a critical hit, but we won't bother rolling for this one, because to be honest with you, by the time its leg is out, the thing does sort of seem highly winded. It does sort of just slump. And Chief, it does seem as if you are now safe, although of course 5 more beings are quickly heading towards you. Would you like to use the rest of your actions just to get that lift working?
That's what I do.
Chief, your go. Tack managed to annihilate the being in front of you just before it really affected you, but there are 5 more on the way, and you need to leave.
Yeah, and I'm going to assume that this lift is probably not so accommodating for my size, that I'll have to take some time actually pushing myself in there and getting towards the wall.
It will indeed require a little time, but you have the actions for it if you spend all your actions just getting in this lift and making sure everything's fine.
That's what I do. Trying to keep the nozzle of my gun towards the outside in case I need to squeeze a trigger.
And you're in the lift, and it begins moving. The door's closing just as you hear the sound of 3 of these beasts bashing themselves against said lift. You start going down to the docking hangar, and you emerge. You emerge out. You see no one here. Your ship, still where it was. That cargo ship still where it was, but there seems to be no staff here, except one person you do see. Wait, there's a technician, just sort of looks like he's just about coming to, like, oh god, what happened? The ship's there. You all calm down a little. The fight or flight instinct fading, but already you can just do the odds in your head, Tack. There is no idea, you have no idea how many of these things are on the ship. They're getting everywhere. Individually, they're not so difficult to take down, but you just don't know if there's anything you can do for this station, especially knowing that half the staff, in fact everyone apparently, is only just now recovering from this nerve toxin attack.
Well, we have to get out of here. I don't see that there's anything that we can really do. There's too many of them, and we're not equipped to handle this. Let's just get out of here, Chief.
Done. We're just gonna have to blame Uncle Ernie for this one, I say as I squeeze my way out of the lift.
Oh yeah, definitely. So we try to make it towards the transport ship then.
And you begin making your way towards your vessel. Tack, for a moment you just glance to the right of the hangar bay, and see an entrance to the maintenance shafts burst open as one of these things comes into the area sniffing around. But you don't think it'll be a problem. You'll be on the ship before it even comes anywhere near you. You also put 2 and 2 together, thinking maintenance tunnel, the cargo vessel. The pirates must have come from that vessel, arriving just as you did and finding their own way into the maintenance shafts. After all, there were no cameras down there, so you imagine while the captain and the crew were all focused on you, they were able to get into that ventilation system extremely easily. Still, they must have known the layout of the station somehow. It doesn't matter anymore. You quickly bang on the door of your vessel, waiting for the pilot to answer. You assume that he'll be fine, as the environment of the vessel you were on would have been contained from the space station.
Eh? What? You've been gone like 3 hours. What's going on?
Go.
Go? Ah, sure, fine.
He shrugs. He doesn't seem to question why you're going. Just go. And you begin leaving the station, your ship clearing the docking hangar, leaving through the shields. It seems there was no security keeping you here. It's not that sort of station, you guess. It's easy to get out. And you're flying away, seeing the station just outside the window. You can only imagine what's occurring. The creatures are probably overrunning the entire place. The security staff have no idea what's going on. If they're finally gaining consciousness, it'll be easy for the station to be completely overrun. How are you feeling?
Well, that didn't go according to plan, did it?
Nah. But you know, if Uncle Ernie's involved, you know, what are we gonna do? It's out of our hands, that maniac scientist.
Yes, let's say that the mission that we ended up getting is quite different from the mission we were supposed to have. Well, let's report this on and see if the SSDC wanna take this on some other way. I mean, perhaps this is perhaps we can come back, maybe with a bigger team, huh? Maybe the Corp will pay us a little bit more. I mean, we weren't gonna get paid much for this mission anyway. Come back, get rid of all these things that Uncle Ernie's put on there. We can earn a lot more.
Clear it all up.
Yeah, and there won't be anyone left alive, so we don't have to worry about shooting any innocents either, huh?
Yeah, I mean, they were fun to crush with a stick. Give them that. How many was there? I just saw them all over the freaking room.
Yeah, we don't know how many pods there were either. They must have hit during that debris storm, huh?
What were those pirates talking about anyways before you told me to charge that vent?
Yeah, what was it they were saying? They lost the one guy and they were gonna like rob this place, I think. They had apparently prepared to kill everyone on it.
How did they get there?
Well, I guess they arrived the same time as we did, on a different ship.
Huh.
You notice the Rosette pilot turns around and goes,
So what the hell are you two idiots talking about? Why are we leaving? What was going on?
Well, you know, turns out Uncle Ernie had one of his experiments fly into space and heading straight into our dear beloved space vessel.
Oh, nasty. Were there any Rosette on board?
Didn't see any.
Oh.
Nah.
Oh, never mind then. These things happen. Oh well.
It was playing your goddamn music, though.
God dang music, you simpleton. Do not insult the great national anthem, the Rosette.
Yeah, that's great. Great with all your chittering, that's all you got going for you.
Yes, exactly. Alright then, I guess we're heading back early.
and so your ship begins to rapidly leave the space around the space station, heading once again into deep space. After some time, your Rosette pilot begins to set up a secure communication from your vessel to any nearby SSD-C beacons, enabling you to make a debriefing.
Alright then, so you're gonna get your debrief ready, you two? Say how you bungled everything up?
We didn't bungle nothing up. We just happened to be on the same goddamn place as pirates and along with them crashing into this shit, I say, and I take a piece of my armor that has been shot through and I just throw it into the corner of the cargo hold.
Yes, we will tell them how we bungled this up. We will also tell them that, well, it wasn't exactly what the contract said it would be.
You know, he's just trying to get away on some kind of discount prize, paying us to look out for fur little creatures when he's actually been infested. I mean, not that I would have expected something less, but...
Well, it's not the first time it's happened, right?
Yeah, well, people gone missing. Yeah, shit. Of course it's gonna be something like this.
Yeah. They're always trying to screw us over, trying to get the best possible deal. We could have died there. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, we could have... I don't know. We could, I suppose, try to pull someone out of that mess, but... At the same time... I don't know. Just say as I check my gun and I put it down on the side of the seat that I am on.
Alright then, well anyway, let's patch you through.
And eventually the receipt patches you through. This ship is equipped with holo emitters, so the individual on the other side is able to appear before you in holographic fashion. They are one of the commanders you are used to dealing with, a human woman by the name of Lieutenant Brigson. You see her sort of looking at you, a little confused, from wherever her ship is, somewhere else.
Chief and Tack, you weren't scheduled for a drop debrief for another 2 or 3 days. What's going on?
I look over to Tack, who's got the leader position in this little outfit that we have.
Well, it was a little bit more than the bug hunt we were sent out to take care of. We encountered pirates, and we encountered some kind of biological experiment done by Uncle Ernie, of all people. Was that something that you knew that we were going to be encountering there?
What the hell, Tack? Why the hell would I know that? You think I'd send in 2 mercs to deal with an Uncle Ernie infestation? What the fuck? Alright, data reports, please. What happened? What's the situation on the station?
Well, the situation right now is that the whole place is overrun by them. You know, these pirates were coming in about the same time as we were doing, and, well, they brought some kind of nerve gas, some kind of toxin, making everyone take a little nap. And at the same time, this experiment has been smashing in. They thought it was an asteroid, but it turned out to be a shuttle full of some goddamn alien eggs. Well, they were hatching and running all over the place, starting to eat the people that were sleeping because of the pirates. And we ran into the damn pirates, turned into a firefight. Killed a few of them and killed a few of the aliens, but then they was running all over the place.
Yes, we were tragically overrun, and we had to, well, retreat tactically back to the shuttle. We are uncertain of the status of the, well, station, but we can pretty much surmise that there's going to be few to none in terms of survivors there.
Tell you what, we was just goddamn lucky, Lieutenant, because if the pirates had released a second canister, which would be some proper, you know, killing kind of thing, and that can turn sour real fast.
Ah, shit. Well, I don't blame you for retreating, I guess. Does sound as if things got quite hairy out there. Pirates, you say? Must have been fucking crazy attacking a space station like that so near Galactic Armed Forces trade lanes. Although that particular station is a little bit out of the way. Nah, they must have had some insider information.
Yeah, we couldn't figure much out because everyone else was sleeping after that. But I bet someone would pay highly to get their hands on the, experiments of the uncle.
Well, hang on a minute. What's that? Well, I mean, they're gonna have to be quick. Picking up distress signals being sent by the space station. Galactic Armed Force personnel will be heading there pretty soon.
You want us to go back there and see if we can grab one of those eggs? I look excitedly over at Tack.
I just kind of shrug. Really?
Chief, you understand what you just told me, that these are Uncle Ernie bioabominations. Why would I want you to get one of his things? It'll probably explode and kill you all or something, and then breed with your brains and then make clones. I don't know, that guy's fucking crazy. I'm sorry that my species put his pestilence on the universe.
It's fine, Lieutenant. You've been doing just much to compensate for that. Well, alright, so we leave that behind, and I guess that leaves us without an employer and without any kind of payment, too.
You see her look at you and kind of frown and then nod. Yeah, about that. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think the employer are gonna be very happy to know one of their space stations being overrun and our mercs didn't really do much to help. Not sure I'm gonna be able to swing that into any of us getting any money, so... Yeah, sorry about that. I don't think you guys will be getting a paycheck this time.
Just get me a new piece of armor and a new mission. Just, Lieutenant, I mean, as quickly as you can, because I need the money. That vacation, most of it ate a hole in my wallet, did.
Maybe we can quickly wrestle in a rescue mission here, get you guys something, but that's gonna take a few. So, sit tight where you are, for the moment. Anything else to report?
No, that's it, sir. Well, at least we will live to fight another day.
You know the drill. Sometimes our line of work doesn't pay out so well, but alright, well, I'm glad at least your equipment's all fine and you're still here. That's at least won't be a write-off for SSDC. They'll be on my backs about this. Okay. Commander out.
And I lean back in my seat. Damn, well, I wasn't expecting us to get paid, but... it still sucks.
Yeah, well, don't matter. Just as long as I get myself a new mission quick snap, because, well, gotta eat.
At least you got yourself that lighter, huh?
Yeah, that I did, and I pick it out. That I did. Come in handy next time. We're gonna do proper chunga. At least we kept traditions.
Just, let's not do it in the shuttle, alright?
The Razit leans forward from his seat and remarks, "So about that mechanical eye you were going to buy from me."
Yeah. You sure you think you can fix it?
I certainly can. I am a very skilled Razit. I tell you, though, that this would have been a completely successful mission if a Razit infiltration team had ended instead. We are, after all, much better at this sort of thing than most of you idiots.
Yeah, I'm sure it would, man. And I cover up a grin and I nudge Tack a little too hard.
Hey, why don't you turn on that music that you like? I think they played it at the station, too.
And the Razit once again puts that music on as your ship flies into space, continuing on its trajectory path. The life of a mercenary isn't easy. If anything, you got off quite lucky today. SSDC care about results, and while the lieutenant was rather sympathetic to your cause, your true employers only care about numbers and results. But simply not getting a payday isn't so bad. After all, at least you're still alive. Better than most of those poor souls on that space station. Oh, there'll be uproar, alright. A lot of people will be filing lawsuits and getting very angry at the corporation responsible for upholding that space station in the first place. Those cheap savings they made on the maintenance will seem far less bad in comparison. And of course, some people might actually miss the people who've died on board that space station. But in the universe these days, a few hundred lives is nothing. Not when you have such larger threats on the horizon. Still, those sort of things aren't your concern. You can leave those sorts of things to the Battlelords, after all. Sometime later, several vessels enter space near the Crystal Palace. They board the station easily, with nothing to really stop them accessing the landing bays. Several well-armored individuals exit these vessels, carrying strange, large emitter devices. When these are turned on, a subsonic signal begins to transmit all over the station. Hangars on some of the vessels open up, and after a short wait, the HALs begin to make their way to the hangar bay. However, when they arrive, they almost seem void of any emotion, completely docile. It's easy for the armoured personnel to herd the HALs on board the holding ship. On board one of these vessels is an Orion. Quickly scanning the station itself, bring up as much data as possible from the station's command deck. There's no hacking is involved, but it does seem quite easy, especially with this ship's capabilities. The Orion is making a report.
Several incident reports. Security footage shows some sort of altercation with pirates. And some mercenaries brought on board to deal with a pest problem. SSDC licensed mercs. One vessel left port some time ago. Large amount of casualties, though it does seem as if there are some survivors sealed off in several sectors of the station. Some security personnel seem to remain, although the whole station is in disarray. Distress signals have been sent out to all nearby Galactic Alliance forces. Likely it will be picked up soon enough. How would you like us to proceed, Mr. Friedberg? A voice comes in through the ship's communication system.
Well, how about some reports, please, my dear little Frisker? Now, how did my little darlings do? Come on, don't leave me hanging in suspense.
Well, the Haberdine Mark II seem to have yielded some promising results. It does seem some have fallen. We are short on numbers. Possibly a combination of merc interference and some remaining security forces on board the station.
Now that ain't good. Also, the 3-week incubation was way too long, and I confess it seems it took them, again, far too long to get the ball running. Now, I'm gonna need to see if I can speed that all up. Still, it's better than the Mark I, though, so results.
Indeed, sir. Again, how would you like to proceed with the vessel, sir? Galactic Armed Forces will be here soon, I imagine.
Oh, I bet they will. Well, it's good the signal went out. After all, it's no fun if folks don't know that the monsters are out there waiting for them. Especially the high and mighty who think they are so untouchable. But yeah, gotta leave a little mystery, don't ya? So, you give the Crystal Palace the ARM care package, won't ya? Let them know Uncle Ernie loves them.
The vessels soon depart the station, before taking up firing positions. Several anti-ship missiles are fired at the Crystal Palace. By the time the Galactic Armed Forces arrive, they find nothing but a field of debris. The year is 2282, and the future is far from bright.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played the adventure Last Resort on the Space Resort for Battlelords of the 23rd Century. This is a sponsored adventure by our friends at 23rd Century Productions, LLC. The music was created by Alpha Zone and Sabled Sun, and was used with permission from their label, Cryochamber. Visit cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more futuristic drone. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia Raulerson, Simon Cooper, David, and Julia for their generous support. And we would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you for listening, and see you soon again.